The Senate has emerged with a border bill that is literally, quite literally, a Republican's wet dream during a time when a Democrat is the president.
Trump is the new Adolf.
This is a terrible bill for anybody that believes in what America stands for. And I'm talking about the actual ideals of America. Not walking into a Starbucks with an AR-15 because my freedom's my Constitution. I'm talking about what the idea of it is. What's in the Constitution. A country of immigrants. I have Greek coal mining blood in me. I have Czechoslovakian coal mining blood in me. They all came here fleeing countries and looking for a better life. And what this bill at its core says, no matter what I may think of MAGA, no matter what I may think of the Republican Party, no matter what I may think of their inability to think critically, the Republican Party thinks even less of their base than we ever could, than we could ever articulate on this show. Because not only did they get everything they wanted, we're talking back to what, Title 42? After they hit a certain quota, I think it's 5,000, they just close the border and don't process any more people, no matter how many are there. No matter getting everything they wanted, billions and billions of dollars. Fentanyl detectors, right? They've been crying about fentanyl. Upgrading all the fentanyl to detect it when it's coming through. They don't want it.
After months and months of negotiations, a bipartisan group of senators has reached a deal
Republicans
on a bill addressing border
for
security and foreign aid. It's a $118 billion package. It calls for over $20 billion in border security measures that include hiring new asylum officers and border security agents, expanding the number of detention beds, and increasing screenings for fentanyl.
They cry about fentanyl.
Wow, that's all tough.
The bill would end the practice of catch and release and raise the standard of asylum, which would send those away who do not qualify more quickly.
You see?
While expediting
This
the
is not a
process
Democrat
for cases
bill.
that do.
Republicans must love this.
The legislation grants a new emergency authority to the White House and the Homeland Security Department to close the border once encounters reach a certain threshold.
5,000 over a week.
Wow.
In terms of foreign aid, over $60 billion would be allotted for Ukraine.
Oh, and here's what they'll use the excuse
$14 billion
for,
would be
right?
given to Israel, and $10 billion would be given.
Hold on. Tucker Carlson is over in Russia right now, interviewing Vladimir Putin, which will no doubt be used for propaganda both stateside and in Russia. I'm not going to get into Israel-Palestine on this episode. But to me, giving funds to Ukraine is much more important than supporting whatever Israel's trying to do right now, which I think we all know what they're trying to do. Giving billions to a country that sits on the eastern border of an authoritarian who, I don't know, this is his last shot, this is Putin's last shot to unite the USSR, is more of a threat to me, personally, than Israel and Palestine, who haven't been able to figure this shit out for 100 years. That's crass. It's an oversimplification of Israel-Palestine. But honestly, this Ukraine holdup by the chuds, I don't understand it. And honestly, one of the most infuriating things is they're so low info, their minds are so in a bubble, that I think they actually believe that this $62 billion to Ukraine, I think they think we just give them cash, right? These are the people that believe there were stacks of cash in Iran that we were like loading up to them. I honestly think they think we're just giving them like Franklin's, right? Here's like a $100 bill. Go figure it out. And this is from a guy who watched us squander billions in the Middle East. But that money, as much as I hate to say it, because I think it's useful in this instance, it all comes back to support America. It's a number that we use to buy, our military industrial complex. And yes, as someone who thinks this country has wasted trillions of dollars on defense, who thinks there is a welfare program for the military, I do believe that Ukraine is an instance where we should use it. And this right here is how the money's divided up. I mean, look at, the South there. What's that, Arkansas? They're getting like $1 billion from Ukraine aid. New Mexico. Fucking Texas is almost getting $1 billion from it. So Chuds, if you're here and you thought that, like, I don't know, Ukrainians are just throwing American dollars at Putin when they come over, first off, that's really dumb. And second, all the money comes back into our military-industrial complex. But if we're going to use it for something, how about we use it for this? An actual threat to the world. Because, Israel, Palestine, depending on what happens now, in 20 years, in 15 years, even if they figure it out, they'll just be back at it again. And as a certifiable libtard, who in my youth protested, the wars in Iraq and Afghanistan, I feel icky saying it, but I agree that we should be supporting Ukraine.
Assistance for civilians in Gaza and the West Bank.
Well, that's just good for everybody.
Makes everyone happy. Despite the bill being crafted by a bipartisan group of senators, it is already facing major pushback.
You see why I say that no matter what we think of you, MAGA chud, Republican, no matter how low we think of you, the Republican Party is actually taking the bet that you are low info enough, that you are so ingrained in this cult, that once you get everything you've been asking for, because make no mistake, this is unprecedented. This would be the biggest border overhaul bill in like 50 years. And they're telling you to your face, we're not going to take it because it's the only issue we have right now to run on in a presidential election. They're banking on that. They're banking on your political ideologies, your beliefs, your core passions, whatever gets you fired up. They're believing it has nothing to do with the actual issues. Nothing to do with actually fixing anything. And everything to do with propping them up into power. Idealizing personalities.
Predecessor who plans to run on immigration
and here's why.
Urged Republicans this weekend to kill the deal.
Please blame it on me. Please.
Bad bill.
Because they were getting ready to pass a very bad bill.
Bad bill.
And I'll tell you what, a bad bill is, I'd rather have no bill than a bad bill. A bad bill you can't have.
You show me a Donald Trump voting Republican, and I will show you a cult member. The bill's out. You can go look at it. And Big Boy over here, he doesn't say anything that's wrong with the bill. He just says, bad bill, bad bill. Because when you're low info, when this is your guy, when this is the guy that you go see in 3 years out from a presidential election, it doesn't matter. All you have to say is bad bill, bad bill. And then you cut to the audience and the chuds go, bad bill, bad bill. And then you go to Fox News, bad bill, bad bill. Newsmax, bad bill, bad bill. And it eventually gets to Moses Mike here. Guy who beats off with his son, owns his daughter's virginity. Wish I was joking. Moses Mike, seen here with the burning bush.
Here's what Speaker Johnson said. I have seen enough. This bill is even worse than we expected. It won't come close to any of the border catastrophe the president has created. As the lead Democrat negotiator proclaimed, under this legislation, the border never closes. If this bill reaches the House, it will be dead on arrival. Your thoughts?
Yeah, unfortunately, he would step out and be able to see that right away before, obviously, he had had a chance to be able to read it as well.
This is a deep red Oklahoma Republican.
The key aspect of this, again, is are we as Republicans going to have press conferences and complain the border's bad?
Yes, you are.
And then intentionally leave it open after the worst month in American history in December? Now we've got to actually determine, are we going to just complain about things, or are we going to actually address
it's your
and
party.
change as many
It's
things
kind
as
of
we
your
can?
MO.
If we have the shot, and it's amazing to me, if I go back 2 months ago and say we had the shot under a Democrat president to dramatically increase detention beds, deportation flights,
this is a deep
lock
red
down the
state
border,
Republican.
to be able to change the asylum laws, to be able to accelerate the process, no one would have believed it, and now no one actually wants to be able to fix it and says, I don't want to even debate it, I don't want to discuss it. We have to decide as Republicans, what are we going to...
At the end of the day, this is all that matters to MAGA Mike, is Donald Trump kissing that ass. This guy right here, becoming more clown-like by the minute.
It's being invaded right now, right in front of our very eyes, because of Joe Biden's
catastrophic
border policies.
And Joe Biden should be ashamed of himself.
House Republicans slammed
trying to give
the
us
president's
everything we
handling
wanted.
of...
You know what? I agree. Joe Biden should be ashamed of himself. This is a lot of money for a problem that Republicans have been saying is coming since, I don't know. I think Lou Dobbs started this in the early 2000s, right? When border crossings were at their absolute lowest. And Obama had the lowest border crossings ever in our history. And Trump intentionally broke the border. And if you don't know this, if you're not caught up on this, if you don't know the ins and outs of how this propaganda works, and now this party is telling you we're not going to solve a problem because we need the problem, if you're still at this point and you think this is a fight, because this isn't a fight. This is Democrats giving in once again to radical Republicans. This is very much Democrats losing this. Joe Biden would take a hit on this if it gets passed. If you're still there, I can't help you. I think the only thing that can help you at this point, if you still believe that, is like a lobotomy. Gullible, gullible ass people. And some of them are so gullible that they've headed to this rally down at the border at Eagle Pass, right? Just another opportunity to fleece more money off of you. Sarah Palin, Ted Nugent. These shops that are set up. You got an Etsy store with some backfill. I guess head down to Eagle Pass. There's a lot of rubes down there. What happens when they showed up? Here, let's check it out.
I've been talking to these folks who have come from all over Texas, even other parts of the country, to be here. And some of them, even though we are about a half hour from Eagle Pass, have driven down to Eagle Pass to try to actually see what's happening at the border. And I've spoken to a number of people who said that they're a little surprised by what they're seeing here. I want to play a conversation with a woman, Misty. Take a listen.
It's pretty surreal. We actually made it into Eagle Pass, and we went and saw Shelby Park. I was able to see some people actually trying to cross and stopped at the wire there. So it was, it's very eye-opening.
And tell me more about eye-opening. Is it what you expected? Is it better? Is it worse?
It's not what I expected, but then again, I don't know what I expected. I can tell you it's not as bad as what I thought. So that's kind of eye-opening in itself too. Yeah.
Misty, whatever her financial situation is. Misty can take a week off, not go on vacation, not take the kids to Disneyland. Misty can take a week off and head down to watch the most impoverished, the most desperate people try to find a better life for themselves. Misty sits, and just watches them try to cross a river with barbed wire in it. And then Misty says, I thought it'd be a lot worse. Misty seems a little disappointed that she didn't see a caravan coming across. Misty is so close to understanding how her mind is nothing more now than a propaganda sponge. Misty is in a very tight bubble, and everyone in that bubble is very much on script. And that script is about the border, and now you understand why they won't fix it. So when this white woman stands on the shore, she's gone down there to see this. It's kind of disgusting, right? Your vacation is to try to go see brown people drown, try to make a better life for themselves. This is your base. This is who makes up the party. This is where the values come from. Misty doesn't see it. She saw one or two people coming across, and border security grabbed him up. You see what I'm saying? Misty's seen it with her own 2 eyes. Now, do you think Misty will head back home? Tell the other chuds what she saw? Nah. Misty's going to buy one of these shirts. She's going to vote for Trump again. Because it's a bubble. And this border bill, it doesn't matter. This was a test to show you that this Republican Party has no ideology. They have no core values. It is only a cult of personality there to serve one person. And when he says something, you can see religious Moses Mike. I don't think Moses took orders from this. From this clown. In fact, I don't want to say I know the Bible more than Republicans, but I'm pretty sure Moses went to heaven to get truth, right? And if there's one person, I don't think convicted sexual assaulter, rapist, lied about his properties in New York, they're valued by billions of dollars, 91 counts against him. I don't think this is God. But Republicans do think he's God. And it's in there you can understand while getting everything they want, they will reject it. If you like content like this, make sure you give this video an upvote, subscribe. You can become a member. Here's our current members. They just opened that up for me, so it's kind of brand new. Got some special emojis. They really help during the live for me to highlight your comments to see you. And yeah, tomorrow we're going to change it up a bit. I'm going to go live tomorrow. We're going to talk about aliens, not illegal aliens. Although Republicans, when aliens come, they'll probably hate them too, because they hate everybody. They hate everybody that doesn't look like a Misty. But I'm having my friend on tomorrow. He's way into aliens. I think it's the first time I'm going to have a live guest. So we'll see how it goes. Hopefully everything doesn't melt down. Anyway, thanks for being here. Thanks for watching. The Chud Report.
Blame it on me, please, because they were getting ready to pass a very bad bill. And I'll tell you what, a bad bill is, I'd rather have no bill than a bad bill.